Hey y'all, hey, this is Fiji Rated, and today I want to talk to you about a trip that I took earlier this year in February of 2022. Me along with my son and my cruise buddy, we went on the Freedom of the Seas out of Miami. It was on Royal Caribbean, and we decided to take this trip during that time of year because, first of all, it was more reasonably priced. I'd actually received 4 rooms or 4 people that were able to go on this trip. Because, long story short, it wound up being a thing where we could get the cruise at a very reasonable price, but we wound up blowing all those savings on other things like making sure that our flights were good, making sure that our hotel accommodations were amazing, renting a car. And these are some of the things that I touched on in my previous video for Norwegian, basically stating that when you take a cruise and you go out of a destination that isn't within driving distance, there's so many additional costs that you have to take into account, like the flights, like the hotel accommodations, and like actually even renting a vehicle if you want to get around, depending on, first of all, you have to get in a day before your cruise. So don't sit back, don't mess around, don't do things where you would come in the day of the cruise, because you are really risking it, especially this day and time. But anywho, I want to get back to the matter at hand. And I want to point out the fact that we stayed at this beautiful place called Altair in Miami. My girlfriend had found it on booking.com. Wish we would have gotten there earlier because they had so many different options and accommodations and activities and amenities that we just simply didn't get a chance to take advantage of because we got in, I guess, around, I don't know, later on in the afternoon, about 2 o'clock, and we just wanted to get something to eat. And then we had dinner reservations at Barton G's, which was a fantastic experience. I mean, extremely expensive, as far as for the type of accommodations and food that you receive, but it was a wonderful time. It was in celebration of my girlfriend's daughter's birthday, so we just decided to splurge a little and do some little extra things. So we went on Freedom of the Seas. They had placed millions of dollars into upgrading this cruise ship, with one major exception, and that was they did not upgrade the rooms, and it showed. The rooms were old. I don't even think that I took much footage of the rooms because I just was disappointed, although I knew what we were getting ourselves into. What we did wound up doing was taking advantage of this extra perk called the Key, and that allowed us to have early access. We were able to bypass the lines. It also included free Wi-Fi, which was the upgraded version. So that was, we loved that. To know that certain things were included in the cost of the Key, and the Key was only like $30 per person, maybe even $20 per person. For that upgrade, and it may have been $20 per day, but when you think about the fact that you got so many perks, including us being able to eat at Chops, which we had like a welcoming meal when we got on the ship, that was amazing. It probably was one of the best meals that we had on the ship because we didn't do any upgraded dining experiences, something that I learned from and decided to do on the Norwegian cruise to ensure that we had a great meal and great time. Some of the great accommodations, again, that came along with our upgraded package was being able to have access to drinks. Most of us who were on the trip are not people who drink much of anything but water and juice, but if you wanted to tap into that resource, you had the ability to do so. What we did take advantage of, they didn't have Starbucks, but they had something that was very comparable as far as the specialty caffeinated drinks that a lot of people look forward to having on, within Starbucks. So it was fine. I mean, we went there over and over again. They had little cafes that were tucked in different places. We would go back to those places over and over again, get small sandwiches. We'd also get some fruits and vegetables and other things that they had available. It was, that part of the ship was really good. The food was mediocre. It really wasn't the best food options. I was kind of disappointed in what we had available to us, as far as just if you did not want to upgrade. And I will say that if you were on the Norwegian ship that we went on, which was Norwegian Joy, you didn't have to necessarily upgrade your dining experience to have good dining experiences. But with this ship, I think that if we knew then what we know now, we would have probably upgraded and paid for that. We also went to the Bahamas. So we went on a swimming with the dolphins excursion, and that was fine until my son, who was so excited about doing this, decided last minute, once he saw the dolphin splashing around and saw his teeth, he just decided it wasn't for him, and he got up and made his exit stage left. So, I mean, you live and you learn. That was an expense that I couldn't get a refund on, and as a matter of fact, they made sure to make him take the picture. Even though he wasn't in the water with the dolphin, they made sure that he took a picture just so that I wouldn't try to go and get a refund for that part of the experience. What else? I mean, they had the kids club that he took advantage of. I am a parent who loves kid club options on cruises, so I was happy that they had that. We also went to they had their own type of island and all day type of amusement park experience. You have what they have, like, our wave pools and kind of like makeshift beaches and things of that nature. And we decided to go zip lining, which was actually my first time ever going zip lining, and it was great. I loved it. I would definitely do it again. I remember the guy saying to me something like, "You want to go fast or you want to go slow?" And it was just like, this is my first time. I don't want to do anything that's going to put myself in danger. So I wound up going slow, and I kind of wish that I would have said, let's go fast. I also, as a result of going slow, I was able to get some footage that I probably wouldn't have been able to get if I was going fast. You're not really supposed to have your cell phone, so I had to like tuck it in my shorts and kind of hide it, Well, but anywho, it made its way out of the shorts, and I was able to, take some photos, take some videos, and things of that nature. But for the most part, would I take that ship again? No. I wouldn't go on Freedom of the Seas with Royal Caribbean. It was, while most of the experience for me was positive, the person that I went on the trip with, it wasn't a good experience for her and her children. It was a small accommodations because they wound up overbooking the ship. Somehow they didn't have her room available when we arrived, even though we arrived very early, and what they wound up giving her really wasn't comparable to what we had booked initially. They had to refund her money for the key. They tried to do what they could to give her onboard credits and try to make up for the trip. But what I will say to you is first impressions are lasting impressions, and the moment that she realized that she wasn't being treated equally to what I was experiencing, I would call her up and say, hey, I'm able to get this, I'm able to get room service, I'm able to do this. And we had to keep going back to customer service or guest services and trying to get her accommodations and everything else aligned with mine. It was weird. It was just like, I don't know. But anyway, I felt like they dropped the ball with that situation over and over again. And instead of them going out of their way to be as accommodating as possible, given the fact that the things that were going wrong were out of her control, and while I wouldn't say it was necessarily in their control, I do feel like it was in their control to make sure that they made up for whatever type of grievances she was having on the ship. So for me, even though my experience just isolating myself from her was better than what she experienced. It overall was just not a great experience due to what she encountered during that time. And that's just me being honest. I do think that I would go on another Royal Caribbean ship, one that's upgraded, that has more modern amenities, both as far as in the promenade area as well as the rooms. I do have family members who've recently gone on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and the photos that I saw from their trip was fantastic. So, I wouldn't necessarily throw the whole cruise line away. However, I'm happy to say that, again, having gone on multiple cruise lines, that Royal Caribbean was probably my least favorite thus far, with the exception of the key, the Wi-Fi, and what they kind of bundled into that package, which was at a lower price point, but greater service than what I have experienced with other cruise lines. So if you have any questions, with my previous cruise video, a number of people chimed in and asked me different questions, and I so appreciated that. It made me feel like I was doing something that was beneficial to people that I know and don't know. So if you have any questions, or if you have had any experiences that were similar, better, worse, whatever, feel free to leave a comment. Also, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and support Fiji Rated. Thank you. Bye.